First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and to my ourselves great millstone, while it's truth, and also to the elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say Shalom, and come back here today with another great powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is the enemy within news report. So I like to say Shalom to all our listen and learn. Hope this help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a few news articles, but we'll start here first with this one right here. It says Muslim community patrol in New York City. It says here, it said the MCP, or the Muslim Community Patrol, say this is to keep communities safe and that it is not a Sahara patrol, but question persists. Let's get a little bit more. He said, did you know that that Brooklyn has a Muslim Community Patrol? The Muslim Community Patrol, MCP, in Brooklyn, New York, operates vehicles that closely resembles the NYPD patrol cars and describes said itself as a visible deterrent to crime. In addition, said its officers wear badges nearly identical to the NYPD and acts as a liaison between police and the city's Muslims. So, you know, they're acting like a affiliate, acting like a partner or in collaboration with them. So they're acting just like they're law enforcement. Let's see here. It says most Americans would likely be stunned to discover that private pseudo police forces are imitating real law enforcement without interference in the U.S. or the United States. So in the UK, such a disclosure would surprise nobody because the British have witnessed that phenomenon for years. So we already know what's going on in the UK right now. They already have these Muslim, so-called Muslim patrol already patrolling the streets of Britain for years. So we already know right now this is all by design and manufactured from the government order out of chaos. We know that this is going to cause what? Civil unrest. This is going to cause what? Civil war. This is exactly what they want. This total control. So we already know this right here. You know, it's a surprise to me, but you know, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, his agenda, his plan. So we already know it right now. They're rolling around, and MCP got their own looking just like New York police officers. So, you know, that's going to cause a lot of confusion. So, and they're Muslims. So we already know what's going on between Israel and Iran, this Muslim community over there. So it's going to be an uprising over here. They already put out a terrorist watch. And also we know that Israel and Iran tensions are constantly growing. And they saying any given day that Iran is getting ready to attack Israel. So we already know that all hell is getting ready to break loose. They talking about it's only to keep the community safe, talking about their community, you know, the Muslim community. And you already know who are they going to target: the people of color, the Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians. And while you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. You know, Jacob Trouble is getting ready to pop out. Also, I think it was several months ago that the Venezuelan president, he has emptied the prisons and let all their prisoners release them, and they are all coming across the border. They're talking about a border crisis. They're just letting anyone come in, and all sorts of rapers, you know, all sorts of killers, you know, murderers, you know, all sorts of different crimes. You know, these are convicts, you know, and one thing about it, you know, they are going to do anything and everything. You know, it's going to be sedition among men, you know, city against city. That's what we're constantly warning you left and right. So we see it right here. They've been having this in Brooklyn for some time, you know, for probably several months. You know, this Muslim community patrol in New York City. So, man, I'm telling you, they putting these things right in front of your face. So we already knowing all hell is getting ready to break loose. And also we knowing about these Venezuelan gangs. They're already causing committing crimes all across the United States. I got a clip that one guy, he answered the door. They was acting like they were Amazon employees, workers, and they robbed the man. It also was another clip, but I don't think I have it. But anyway, they had been raping women, so it's a lot of things going on. They stealing, robbing, and raping. So these things constantly gonna be on the pickup, gonna be on the incline, disorder, out of chaos. So we already knowing that these perilous times are upon us. It's time to seek the Lord. Also, we knowing about that 4.4 magnitude earthquake that happened in LA. I have a clip on that. Also, once again, this border crisis. And also this the main thing is this crisis constantly picking over in the Middle East, the so-called Middle East, between Israel and Iran. So we already knowing that the U.S. is constantly building up their military presence over there around the Lebanon coast, also around the Red Sea, and also around the Persian Gulf, just like the Bible says. So we know that the Lord is gathering the nation. Also, he's saying that these criminals now that's coming from Venezuela and other parts of the world, also China and Russia, saying they're very hard to find, very hard to them to convict or locate. They call them ghost criminals. So we already know where all this is going. So one thing about it, we already know is we coming upon a very lawless time. We seeing right now that these migrants are getting ready to take over America. We already know that they have these sleeper cells into place. So now let's go to our next news clip here. Let's go to this one here. I got another one here about this LA deal. We just get a little bit of this, just a news report also, So the Lord has set up watchmen, constantly warning you of these impending dangers. A lot of people right now, they're watching, they're hearing, but they're not taking heed. And one thing about it, all hell is getting ready to break loose left and right. Man, we're constantly warning you, man. It is here. It is at the door. So now, this one right here by the LA, by the Los Angeles Times, it says here, a 4.4 earthquake was centered on notorious LA fault system. Let's get a little bit of it. It says here, the magnet, Salaki. It says here, a magnitude 4.4 earthquake that had rattled LA on Monday was centered within one of the region's most predominantly destructive fault systems, said one capable of producing a magnitude 7.5 earthquake under hearts of the region. So we see this is what happened today. I think it happened around I think it was around 12:20 or 12:30. It happened, the center of it was in Pasadena, California, and also the surrounding area. So we already know, we constantly hearing rumors of war, also earthquakes in diverse places. So we seeing that the Bible is constantly lining up left and right. We're at the beginning of sorrows. You see it right here. A 4.4 earthquake was centered on the notorious, so like a little tongue twister, LA fault system. So we seeing right here that these earthquakes they're constantly picking up. We seeing right now these plagues are not slacking down. So let's go to this one. Not meant to be a long lesson, just bringing out a few things that I've been seeing. Let's go to this one here. The news break here. It says here, it said illegal migrants allegedly commits 22 crimes in 6 months. See, it will get worse, expert says. So that we already know it's going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a civil war, civil unrest. It's going to be a time of trouble that we've never seen before. Let's read a little of this article here by Fox News. It said an illegal Venezuelan migrant with suspected gang ties who has allegedly committed 22 crimes in 6 months in New York City still hasn't been deported. So according to local news report and the House Judiciary Committee, it said the problem in New York is you have a sanctuary state and a sanctuary city, and and they put politics ahead of public safety, says Tom Homan, who served as acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement under President Trump. Sanctuary cities and sanctuaries for criminals. So we see it right here, we already know that they was giving them what, room and board. Also, they was giving them what, debit card. Also, I had another clip, I think it was last week, but I didn't never brought it out. But anyway, this woman seen that one of these migrants had left a receipt with about, I think it was almost $14,000 and something of food, so they constantly aiding these illegal migrants, giving them places to stay, food, shelter. It's also supplying them with transportation, debit cards. And also, we already know there's also, they're supplying them with weapons. Also, we know that they're undercover, UN peacekeeping troops. So you already know a lot of these people that's coming from these other countries already come from these war-torn countries. So they already knowing about war and all this third world country stuff. So they used to it. So this is going to be just like a walk in the park for them when all hell break loose, because they're going to do anything and everything. They're going to rape these women to pieces. They're going to kill and be killed. They do not care, so it's some of the worst criminals are right here in America right now, and one thing about it, we know that we're almost at the boiling point. Right here, Israel, man, this war is getting ready to break out, man. A lot of things are getting ready to happen, man. We seeing that we hear World War III has begun, man. It's at the door. All hell is getting ready to break loose. The enemy within already have these sleeper cells in place. We're seeing that these migrants constantly coming across the board, military aged men. We already know that all this by design has been manufactured by the government, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord is getting ready to make Esau bare, and also the Lord is getting ready to destroy America, Babylon the Great. The Lord is getting ready to tear this place up. So we seeing right here these illegal migrants constantly committing crimes all across America. They're not putting these things in the news. Why are they not doing it? Because one thing about it is exactly a part of their plan, their agenda. One world currency, one world government, one world religion, total control. So now let's get this next one here. I got one more by I think it's by Iran. Let's see here, it's another one here I got. Then we're gonna get a precept. Then we're gonna open up today's video. It says here. See here, it says here, it's a Iraq militant warns U.S. and Israel over unified strike from Iran and allies. So you're seeing that things are picking up. I don't think this is the one I want. Let's see, it might be another. It says here, it's a Iraqi militant fighting under the banner of the Islamic resistance in Iraq has shared with Newsweek warning for both Israel and the U.S. as a region awaits the response of Iran and its allies for a too high-profile assassination. So that's, they waiting on this retaliation. Said 2 weeks has passed since the still unclaimed surprise slaying of Hamas political bureau chief. I don't want to say his name right now. It's Ismail Haniyeh. It's in Iranian capital of Tehran. So we already knowing about this here. It's talking about these leaders. It was another one I was trying to get. It's about this escalation that they're building up their military. They're building up the military might over there in the Middle East. Let's see here. Let's go back. Something else I want to get. I don't want to go get too deep. I think it's this one here. It's this one right here. It says Israel prepares for likely retaliatory attack by Iran as tension mounts. So that's what they're getting ready for. So we already know that they're constantly sending these warships over there, selling these aircraft, all sorts of, also they're selling troops over there. So things are getting ready to pick up, so we seeing that these tensions are constantly growing left and right. And also they saying any given day. So, it could be this week or it could be tonight or whatever like that. So we know that we're very close. Iran and Israel, is heating up. in the so-called Middle East, and the Lord is making these things happen. The Lord is what? Gathering the nation. We're very close. So now, let's go here and get a quick precept. Let's go here to, let's get this one here. Let's go here. Let's get some of these tabs closed. One moment. Just a quick lesson through the Spirit. Let's go here to the blue letter. Let me see if I got it pulled up. If I ain't got it pulled up, I just run it off of one. Let's go here to Ezekiel chapter, I think it's 3 and 17. Ezekiel chapter 3 and 17. Then we're going to get the videos. Then we'll bring out a few precepts. And once again, I hope that you will get edified. Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17, if I'm not mistaken. Here we go right here. And it reads, Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 17 said, Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Said, therefore, hear the word at my mouth and give them warning for me. That's what we're doing each and every day. We're constantly warning you about what? Earthquakes in diverse places. Warning you about what? War is constantly brewing. World War III. Also pestilence. You know what I'm saying? A great time of trouble. That's what we're constantly warning you each and every day. The Lord told us to warn you, because when the Lord bring it, there will be no more talking. Verse 17 in the NLT, it says, Son of man, I have appointed you as a watchman for Israel. So whenever you receive a message, give from me, warn people immediately. So that's what we are constantly doing, left and right. If you see something, say something. If you're a man of the Lord, you're a prophet out in the highways and byways, making these video epistle, constantly keeping that side, warning before destruction. And one thing about it, that we knowing that, hey man, it's almost here, man. The Lord is getting ready to make it good. So now, let's start today's video, and after the video, we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified. Let's go here.
New Yorkers say they're shocked after seeing Muslim patrol cars roaming their neighborhoods like police squads. These Muslim community patrols just began operating in Brooklyn this year, and according to the Council on American Islamic Relations, they are the first of their kind in the United States. The patrols sprang up as an apparent response to some 14 biased incidents against New York Muslims in 2017. Actually, a rather low number, considering there's over 8.6 million people living in the city. According to the group's vice president, Noor Rabah, the group currently has 30 members, but plans on rapidly expanding to cover the entire city. He describes the Muslim patrols like a neighborhood watch, but on steroids, with members dressed like police officers and driving cars identical to police squad cars. Residents say they're uncomfortable with the patrols, which they describe as being similar to Sharia police. Others have raised doubts about the purpose of the patrols, saying New York's police department is already very diverse, and their only job is to patrol the city streets and protect people from harassment or crime. So why does there need to be a Muslim group tasked with the same job as the police? Even other Muslims have raised questions about the need for the patrols, with residents expressing fears this is just another form of Sharia law enforcement. Similar groups can already be seen in other major European cities in Denmark, Germany, France, Sweden, and Britain. These patrols have been going on for years, and a CNN report caught Muslims from patrol in London harassing residents. In Whitechapel, one man can be heard insulting a gay man, calling him offensive names and telling him he wasn't welcome in a Muslim area. Others denounce residents for drinking, claiming this is a Muslim area and alcohol is not permitted. They also harassed a woman as she was crossing the street, warning her that her short skirt was not allowed in Muslim areas. And now, with the arrival of these Muslim patrols to New York City, Americans are becoming worried they'll fall under the same harassment for not following Islamic practices. Pearson.
All right, guys, let me explain what's happening. You guys are fighting over the immigrants, okay? Now, remember this. The immigrants have been allowed through the door and they've been housed in hotels. And if you were listening a little while ago, there was a woman that did a video where she was offered a fat chunk of money to put these immigrants in her house, her property. Then a delivery came, a container, and she dared to open that container and saw that that container had guns in it. And the question was, back then, I thought, are these people supporting the British Army? Are they going to be working with them? No, I think this, and this could get taken down. They allowed people to come into this country. There are well above capacity for this country to handle the amount of people. We all know that because we're feeling it, right? Something like 68 million when there should be 32. They bring them over, they let them in, they put them in the hotels, and then they give them guns. Then they create a civil war. And who's got the guns? The immigrants. And what happens? A civil war at a level that people haven't seen. If you're shocked by what's occurring right now, prepare yourself with what's to come. Because if what I think is going to happen, and if these immigrants are pissed off by what you guys have done, or what you guys have been programmed dumbly to sheepy follow and do, think about it. The government let them in. They house them. They give them everything for free. You're going to get pissed by that. There's no doubt about it. I get pissed about it. Why am I working? Why am I paying taxes? Why am I having to pay for everything? And they're getting everything for free. Who's not going to get pissed about that? The government let them in. They house them for free. The locals get pissed. They get angry and riot. They abuse Muslims. Because these are what the immigrants are largely, aren't they? They're Muslims from the countries that the West have gone in and screwed over. They piss off the immigrants rise. Who's going to give the guns to the immigrants? It's not even going to give, they've given them. There is an army of people within. And those people, when they come up, you and your wheelie bins and your pallets and your distant level of attack is nothing compared to what they can deliver, because they've faced it themselves in their own countries at the hands of people. No offense, like you. What a fucking mess.
Here's footage of the newest illegal immigrant caravan headed for our southern border. Kamala Harris is promising to do something to secure our border if she's elected. What if she started with this growing caravan that's coming across Mexico right now?
Why does she have to be? Why do we have to wait for her to be elected? They've had 4 years in office. She's in the second most influential position in this matter in the White House. She needs to start doing something now, but she won't, because she's never going to do anything.
The new warning from law enforcement that among the record number of migrants that have crossed into the U.S. are members of a Venezuelan street gang. NBC News learning there are more than 100 Homeland Security investigations involving suspected members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, according to 2 DHS officials. In the past week, the NYPD says a suspected member of the Venezuelan gang shot 2 of its officers.
So we know that he entered the country illegally.
NBC News has learned the gang is suspected in criminal cases in at least 5 states. In one case, 3 Tren de Aragua gang members who crossed the border here in Texas in the last year threatened 2 Venezuelan women and said they would kill their family members if they did not cooperate in a sex trafficking ring, according to court documents. The women ended up in Baton Rouge, and police say they were forced to have sex with up to 4 men a day in this apartment building. How big of a threat is Tren de Aragua?
I mean, they are a grave threat.
The NYPD's Assistant Chief Jason Savino tells us they often know very little about the gang members.
I've heard it referred to almost as a ghost criminal. Everything about that individual could potentially be misrepresented.
And why does that make them dangerous?
Because if you come here and we can't even track you, we're not even sure of who you are.
Returning now to the Middle East, CNN analyst and Axios reporter Barak Ravid is now reporting that Iran has indeed decided to directly attack Israel. And though it's not clear when that might happen or what form it would take, the attack could come, he reports, as soon as in the next few days. With us now, CNN military analyst, retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, and former State Department Middle East negotiator Aaron David Miller. General, starting with you, what do you expect from Iran as compared to the drone and multi-missile attacks of 300 rockets and missiles that were directed towards Israel back in April from Iran, directly from Iranian territory? Do you expect something similar or something different? You know, Wolf, you can't really say. It could be a spectrum along that line. Anything from a massive attack, not only from Iran, but also in coordination with Hezbollah and with other forces in the area, the PMF forces in Syria and Iraq, as well as the Houthis in Yemen. Or could we see just a kinetic strike that's precision and surgical in nature to show Israel and for Iran to show their own population that they are doing something about what struck in Tehran. So it could be anywhere between those two extremes, but I think they have to do something just to appease their own population, but also to show Israel that they are ready to confront them. But anything that they do could certainly expand this region into a catastrophic conflict.
Another earthquake just rattled Los Angeles and beyond. A 4.4 magnitude earthquake hit around 12:20 p.m., with the epicenter about 2.5 miles south of Highland Park, near Chinatown. It was initially reported as a 4.7, but later downgraded. This comes just days after a 5.2 quake shook areas north of LA, and a 4.9 trembler struck east of Barstow a little over a week ago. Seems like the ground just won't stay still lately. The LA Fire Department quickly went into earthquake mode, checking for damage across the city. Luckily, no extensive damage has been reported so far, and there's no tsunami threat. People felt the shaking from LA's west side to the Inland Empire. Some are calling it a wake-up call to stay prepared for the next big one. How did it feel where you were? Stay safe, Los Angeles, and keep an eye on those updates. Earthquake season seems to be in full swing. Drop your experience in the comments and follow for more updates.
So now let's start today's lesson. We'll start here in Matthews. And one thing about it, we know that things are constantly picking up. So we're at the beginning of sorrow. That transition of power is taking place right before our eyes. So we'll start here in Matthew chapter 24. And once again, I hope that you will get edified by today's lesson. Let's go here to Matthew chapter 24. And we'll start up at verse 6. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 6. We're in the blue letter. Let's go here. Let's go back up at the top. It says here, he said, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Verse 7 said, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. That's what we constantly seeing each and every day. They constantly increasing left and right. We're seeing right now these prophets are speaking loud and clear. Verse 8, it said, all these are the beginning of sorrow. So we're at the beginning of what? The birth pain, that transition of power. We're at the end of an eon, of an age. So Lord is getting ready to usher in the kingdom of heaven that dwells in rights. That's why all these things are constantly happening. And also the Lord's getting ready to bring forth judgment. We know that war is upon us. World War III has begun. The last and final war right before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we seeing what? These earthquakes all over the place. So we already know California's getting them pretty much regular, one behind another. We seeing just like these birth pain. These things are picking up, these events, these global events. We knowing that we're here. So let's go here now to Jeremiah. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 51. Jeremiah chapter 51. And one thing about it, we constantly go over these things left and right. We still have a lot of our people still not believing. And these prophecies are popping out. It's popping left and right before their eyes. Let's start here. It says, Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6, it said, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. The Lord is getting ready to repay. The Lord is getting ready to bring forth that judgment. How do you flee out of the midst of Babylon? Well, spiritually, come out of that mindset and hoping that we're part of the hopeful elect when the Lord come with that great fathership from the east to the west with great glory and great power. Start back up here at verse 7. It says, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. So when you already know that all these nations heavily influenced by what America, Babylon the Great, by their policy, by what their democracy, by their unrighteous decree, going in other people's countries, setting up their own puppet leader, killing their leaders and setting up their own puppet leader. But the nations are mad. They have been drunken off all these different policy and democracy, that they've been trying to put into play. They pushing all this iniquities and abominations, and these nations are mad right now. We're seeing that right now. All these alliances are coming against America, Babylon the Great. We know that Russia will be a guard to these other nations. We've seen that these things are lining up left and right. Once again, we already know that America used to be the nation, the number one nation superpower. Used to be, the hammer of the whole earth. But we're seeing that America is circling the drain. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. Verse 8, it said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed, but she will not be healed. Verse 9, he said, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not here. Forsake her, and let us go every one unto his own country, for her judgment reaches into the heavens and is lifted up even to the sky. So right now, the Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment. This place is never coming back. There will be no inhabitant left here. This place is getting ready to be a third world country. This place is getting ready to be a lake of fire, that second death, which in fact is America. We constantly warn you left and right. These IBCM missiles, this thermonuclear fire is very close at hand. Things could go nuclear at any given time. In the middle of the Lord, we constantly warn you left and right. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 10 said the Lord has brought forth our righteousness. Said, come, let us declare in Zion the works of the Lord our power, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Verse 11 said, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which in fact is Russia. Said, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. So the Lord is getting ready to bring forth that judgment. We're seeing right now the Lord is constantly raising up, the spirit of the Medes, which in fact is Russia. Russia is getting ready to be a guard to these nations. They're constantly coming into alliance. Also, we know that at some point that NATO is going to turn on America. So we already know right now, these nations are fed up, and one thing about it that we're seeing right now, they're constantly preparing, constantly getting together. We already know that when America go over and fight with Israel, which in fact is the least of the flock, we know that America and Israel is going to get their asses knocked off. Verse 12, it says, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord has both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So one thing about it, it says set up the ambushes. So right now we already know that, they setting it up already. These sleeper cells, these migrants, they got these damn Venezuelan gangs, they running rapid through all these cities. Also it said in that one of those clips, it said in Baton Rouge that they were holding these women hostages, by against their will, and it will cause them to have sex, 4 times a day. So, we already knowing that a lot of these men that's coming from these other countries have a high sex drive. Eve, get ready. You talking about you don't need a man. You getting ready to find out. They get ready to rape a lot of women to death. We constantly warn you, left and right, seek the Lord while he can't be found. The Lord is preparing the ambush, civil war, civil unrest, rioting, all sorts killing, it's going to be done, a lawless time. Verse 13 said, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundance in treasures. It said, thy end is come, and the measure of thy covenant. So the Lord is getting ready to destroy this place in 1 hour. The whore that sits on many water, America, Babylon the Great. Verse 14 said, the Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies, has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. So that's what we're seeing right now. It said this place is full of all sorts of illegal migrants, all sorts enemies. You know, the Lord this place is full. The border is wide open. And one thing about it, we already know this is by design. They want this civil unrest. They want this civil war. And they get ready to get what they're looking for. The Lord's getting ready to totally destroy this place. So let's read this in the NLT. It says here, the Lord of armies, Salaki, the Lord of heaven's armies has taken this vow and has sworn to it by his own name. Your cities will be filled with enemies, like fields swarming with locusts, and they will shout in triumph over you. So that's what's getting ready to happen. This place is getting ready to be a total nightmare. You know, when these UN troops coming in, these sleepers here, that's why the Lord got to lift up a standard, you know what I'm saying, a way to escape. That spiritual power is getting ready to come into play. If the Lord don't help us, we will be totally destroyed. But we know that the Lord is going to deliver his elect, his first fruit. The Lord is getting ready to come to deliver us with great glory and great power. So we're seeing that everything is set. The stage is set. All things are ready. We're seeing that these Venezuelan gangs, also these different migrants from different places all across the world, you know, young military aged men. This place is getting ready to be a bloodbath. In the middle, Lord, we constantly warn you. You still think that this is a game? All the game's about to be over. So now let's go here. Let's go here to 2nd Esdras, and then we'll get one more and close out. Let's go here to 2nd Esdras chapter 15. This is where we at. 2nd Esdras chapter 15. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 15. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and verse 15. And it reads, said, for the sword in their destruction draws nigh or near, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So that's what's getting ready to happen. A lot of killing, you know, a lot of uprising, you know, a lot of rioting, a lot of things are getting ready to happen. And the modern day sword is the gun. All sorts of technology, weaponry is getting ready to come out. You know what I'm saying? We see it right now. Many shall be taken in a great number. Verse 16 said, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So we already know that they have this MCP, this Muslim Community Patrol, which in fact acting just like New York police. We already know that things is getting ready to get out of hand. So once they start attacking the citizens of America, you know, we already know what's getting ready to happen. The civil unrest, you know what I'm saying, civil war, you know, rioting, protesting, you know what I'm saying, kill or be killed, a lawless time. They're not going to regard the law enforcement. They're not going to regard the military. They're not going to regard the government official is getting ready. The things are getting ready to be set off. The Lord is setting that off, and we cannot wait. A Baba Ball, DTA, a Baba Ball. We're ready for this nightmare to be over. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because you know what, the mandates, the lockdowns, you know, these damn patrols they're trying to make this place out of a police state, a military state. So we already know we're not even worried about the election. We're not even worried about the MOTB. We know that that's very important. We know that they're going to bring that also. But one thing about it, we're not worried about a damn thing, because we know that the Lord is going to deliver us. You know what I'm saying? But we see it right here. You know, if you don't take it under the skin, you will not be able to go into this city or this place. You will not be able to buy. A lot of these things will work hand in hand. And one thing about it, we seeing that right now, they're getting closer and closer to locking everything down, coming with another lockdown, another mandate. You know what I'm saying? We one step closer to all hell breaking loose. This is what this red devil want. The devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. So we already know they have these 15-minute cities, these FEMA counts, these guillotines. A lot of things are coming into play, these hokey pokers. A lot of things are coming, man. We constantly warn you. Verse 18, For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. They shall be very afraid. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. So you already know they have all these different illegal migrants from all these different countries. You know, they're not gonna regard no one. You know, if they want to get something to eat, they're gonna take it. You know, if they want a woman, they're going to take it. You know, so one thing about it, you know, cause you already know what happened in their country. They come from these war-torn countries, these high crime rate rate countries, pretty much, and there's no law that is kill or be killed, living like brute beasts. So it's getting ready to come to America. It's getting ready to get very wild. And one thing about it, a lot of people will be afraid. A lot of people going to give up the ghost of vexation of spirit. My servants shall eat, they shall be hungry. My servants shall drink, they shall be thirsty. Because what? You did not want to return to your true power while he can be found, while he is near. And one thing about it, the prophets are working overtime. We're standing on our watch. We'll stand on fire for Yahweh by Hashem Awashai. So we already know the enemy is within. They already here. All they got to do is give them the green light, and all hell is getting ready to break loose, just like a red dawn effect. You know what I'm saying? America's pretty much surrounded. We constantly warn you. A lot of people are constantly sleeping, not considering, going on with their daily life. As of the days of Noah. Eating and drinking and having a great old time. But one thing about it, man, we almost at the end of this thing, and we're constantly warning you left and right. It is here. It is at the door. Let's go here to Jeremiah. Jeremiah chapter 23. Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 19. Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 19 said, behold, a whirlwind of the Lord is gone forth in fury, so even a grievous whirlwind, so it shall fall grievously upon the head of the wicked. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to come in, like a whirlwind with those that chariot, that laser fire, that fathership, and also with these IBCM missiles, the indignation of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, that thermonuclear fire. It is coming. So there will be no inhabitant left here. We're constantly warning you left and right while you're playing games. The devil is constantly getting busy. And the Lord is getting ready to set everything back in order also. Verse 20, it said, the anger of the Lord shall not return until he have executed, until he have performed the thoughts of his heart or his mind in the latter days. Ye shall consider it perfectly. So you get ready to consider it very perfectly. Because one thing about it, you get ready to find out who your true power is. The king of the universe. Great fear is getting ready to fall upon these heathen and also these two-thirds. The Lord is getting ready to bring that healthy fear back upon this earth, like we have never seen before. That's what we constantly warn you left and right. We seeing that everything is set. We seeing that, they have these migrants, they just running rapid all across America, causing all sorts of crimes and different things they're not putting in the news. Trying to keep it hush hush. And also we seeing that things are constantly escalating in the Middle East. The Lord is gathering the nation. We seeing it happening right before our eyes, man. We're living in some very exciting time. And once again, our salvation is at the door. And once again, the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, it is at the door. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is The Enemy Within News Report. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua by Hashem Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom. Shalom.